Even, I know I mentioned earlier today that I'm not going to talk about full electric cars, but a full electric car, a full 100% electric car has one of these 12-volt battery as well as its major battery, which obviously runs the whole car. This battery here, the little 12-volt battery, actually ignites the electrical system, right? So if you disconnect this battery on a fully electric car, you cannot operate that electric car, right? It's a bit of a safety feature for the way that cars operate. So without the 12-volt battery, that causes it to start the whole electrical process, which is the high voltage side of it, right? Now, they'll fail in that car as they will in any other petrol or diesel car, right? It's a little battery here, right? Now, I'm just carrying this around because they're normally quite heavy, but I'm carrying around this because I'm really strong. I can just throw it around. No, this is empty. There's no lead in here, right? So it's just a case, right? So what happens sometimes, people say, I don't know where to put the positive and the negative. The battery does have positive and negative on it, but sometimes I've seen it. This one's got blue and red, so red's positive, blue is negative, but I've seen where sometimes the way the clamp is stuck on here, you actually can't see because it covers the bit where it says plus and minus, so it's covered. And sometimes we also see where the cable is also black. There's black on the positive side, is black on the negative side, so you can't tell. But where you can tell is that the positive terminal, this we call it a terminal, this thing here, it's larger in diameter. Now, it's not much, but you can see the difference. That's larger than that, as in not height, the thickness of it, right? So it's larger. Right? So you can actually see it from the top. If you're looking down, there's a clamp on there, you can actually see that one is larger than that one, okay? All right, so that's so you can tell, right? Now, if just say that you can't start your car, if it's an alternator issue, if your battery light is on, no point jump starting your car, no one can start your car. If that alternator is not working, the car will not run, right? The car will run whilst you've got the other battery attached to it, but as soon as you disconnect it, it'll just shut off again, okay? So if the alternator light's on, as in the battery on the dash, it's a tow job, you can't start. But if, like some people, they've left their lights on or their door ajar or something in the interior light has caused the battery to drain out, just enough that it won't start, well, then you can jump start your car, okay? Now, there's a correct way of doing this, and it's quite simple. I mean, you like I said, if you Google these things, they're quite simple. The first things first, this is old school, right? This is old. Not many people have these anymore. I'll show you what we use these days. But if you had one of these, right? Look, 9 times out of 10, it's exactly like what I've got here. You'll have it in the boot of your car. It's all tangled up, but you spend a few minutes obviously untangling it, right? This one here has got a surge protector. So if you did accidentally put them on the wrong plus or minus on the wrong one, it actually blows the fuse in here rather than causing issues to the car, whatever, okay? So this is a better one, but you can buy really cheap ones, through eBay and whatever. I recommend if you're going to have one of these, you buy a good one. Now, just say for argument's sake, right? You've taken them out of your car, you've thrown them on the ground, and this has happened, right? Just you throw them on the ground, and this happens just by chance, right? You toss, and it ends up landing like that on the ground. You're not looking what you're doing, right? And you go over to the car that's running, right? That's running, and you go, oh, okay, so I'll put this on positive, right? And next thing you go like this, and it starts sparking, and you shit yourself. You think, what the hell? What have I done? And it's because they're crossed over here, right? So you've got to be mindful that it's all clear, right? Now, I look at it this way, like people say, oh, you've got to do it as an order. You've got to do this one, and that one, that one. At the end of the day, you just put them on. I always start with the car running, right? Because I'll tell you now, because sometimes when you have these connected up on both cars, you try to start it, the other car might not start. Because what it is through the line, this one's actually, it goes both ways. Not only is this one trying to pick up energy from that other battery that's good, but it's also drawing out the bad battery into the other one, so it's sort of drawing it either way, right? So I'd have that, so I'd say this is the good battery, this is the car that's running, you put them on, right? And then these ones here now, you put them on, and people say you can put them on, the positive, negative, or this one goes on positive, this one goes on the body of the car. I always say just look for the battery, try and put them on the battery, because at the end of the day, if you put them in the wrong spot, right, you could actually put this on some electrical component. That's not supposed to be, because really some of the cars actually don't, the battery's not visible in the car. It's actually under the driver's seat, or it's behind on a Chrysler on a Chrysler Sebring, whatever, it's actually in front of the bumper bar. So they're in positions where you can't access them easily, but they do have provision under the engine bay to jumpstart, because they'll have a, some sort of connecting terminal thing, right? So anyway, we'll presume it's got 2 batteries, right? So you put this one on, and then you just go positive, negative, right? Now, this is what I always do. So I'll say this is the opposite. You've got that on the car battery, it's working, right? This is what I always do. I'll tell you now, this is very, very important. So listen to what I say, right? You put the positive on, right? Put the positive on this battery. That one's on the battery already, right? Do this, right? First, right? Don't do this, right? Reason is because the impulse when you get a shock, as in not a shock, physically shock to yourself, but a spark or something that frightens you, the first thing you do is we jump back, or your hands do this sort of thing, right? So if that was crossed over, say something was wrong, it was crossed over, the minute I did that and it started sparking, and it would be an aggressive spark, right? You would shit yourself, I'm telling you now, and you jump back. And now now that's on there, and one of these batteries can explode, right? Not to the extent it's going to kill you or anything, but then you don't want that, because now it causes major problems, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to just tap it. And by tapping it, if there was an aggressive spark, what would you go? Bang. You'd tap it, and you'd naturally jump away, okay? So that's what you do. So if it's not, but what I'll say is that if that engine's running, and your ignition is on your car, even though it's got a dead battery, if you tap that, it'll still spark a little bit, because it's creating an energy, it's creating the circuit. So it'll spark a little bit. It won't be aggressive, but don't be frightened that there'll be a bit of spark happening. It'll be light. It'll be you sort of hear, but it won't be crackle and pop, you know what I mean? So then you get tap, yep, that's okay. And then you sort of tap, hold it, that's fine. Then you put it on properly. That's the way to do it safely, okay? And that's it. Now, that's the old school way. The new way is this, because what happens is you're at a shopping centre, right? You're at a shopping centre, and you've parked your car, front on, and there's a bollard or something in front of your car. Your what do you call that? What angle is this? Straight, parallel parking, whatever. You've driven in. There's a bollard in front of your car. Now, how's the other car going to get in front of yours to jumpstart it? Right? And most times out of 10, you park a car beside you, your battery's on this side of the car, their battery's on that side of the car, the leads won't reach, it's too far, the distance is too far. So we have one of these, right? So this is now the modern day jump starting tool, right? It has functionality to charge your phone, it's got a strobe light on it, it's a torch. It's for if you're on the side of the road, you can have that on there so people can see that it's got wonderful features, right? So it's an amazing thing, right? And the beauty of it is you can also charge the unit itself, to through your own USB or lighter thing, right? So it's a wonderful thing, right? So you're now at the shopping centre, right? You got one of these. The car beside you can't start, and you go, hang on, I can help. I've got one of these, so I can help you, or I can start my own car. And then, this thing's got surge protector, so if you did put it on the wrong side, it just won't work. It comes up with a warning saying you're the wrong side. It's not going to explode on you, right? So you just click it on there like that. You put that on there like that. You hit the button. It comes, obviously, so it shows a different sign because that's a dead battery, but it'll show the sign. You go and turn the car starts, happy days. Okay? So anyone who's going, doing longer trips, as in, travelling around, because a lot of people do that these days. They travel around, they buy a vehicle, a little van or something, they travel around. Don't leave home without this. What do you call that? This is a jump pack, a battery jump pack. Sorry? Yes. Yeah. Well, this is a good one. This Noco brand is a good one because we use it daily in the workshop, right? But you can buy cheaper ones. This one here is probably $350 for this thing here, but you can buy $100 ones, whatever. And look, the reality is because we use it 5-6 times a day, we obviously invest in a better one. The question that a lot of people sort of ask, and you may be thinking, how long does this last, like if you don't charge it, right? Now, the thing is, I don't have an answer to that because we use it every day. So I've never had it sitting around for 6 months to prove that. But realistically, I'd like to think that it's in your car for at least 6 months before you would have to charge it. But it's only a quick, you press the button and it tells you, by the lights, how much charge is in it, right? And when this is fully charged, we could probably jumpstart 7 or 8 cars.
And how
How long? That's it. Look, or you can. If it's dead flat, like I'll give you an example. If you turn your ignition on, right, and there's no lights at all, like zero, the battery's dead flat, right, you might have to leave it on there for a few minutes to let the whole just to generate some charge, right? But if you got some ignition lights on and the battery's only down, you can do it's an instant turn and it'll start straight away. Yeah. Try to, look, when it's on, like, oh yeah, that's a good question. Look, you try not to leave it somewhere where, it's going to, because you sort of look, when the car starts, it might vibrate a little bit, like as in the body of the car. So you try and have it, like if that was on this battery here, because the leads aren't that long, right? You try and either sit it, you can have it like that on the battery, or you can have it, sitting over here somewhere, right? But try not to have it sort of dangling so it sort of puts pressure on in case that flicks off, because it can. But the reality is that's safe to do it like that. Anymore. Once it's running, it just, yeah. I look at it this way. I try and take the positive off first. You try and take the positive off first, and the reason why is because while the positive's on there, it's still almost got a full circuit with anything that's negative or you touch. So if you touched another positive, then you can cause a short. So by taking the positive off, the negative will never short on anything. Yep. Well, okay, that's a great question. I wouldn't turn it off until you got to your destination, really, because that's the reality. I don't know. It does take a while. If your battery was really, really down in voltage, these aren't instant. They'll start generating power straight away, but in order to generate its full battery capacity, it does take a bit of time. Okay, it does take a bit of time. So yeah, I'd wait till at least you got home. Don't switch it off. If you had to go via grocery shopping or something, detour, I'd go, I'll probably drive it around for a bit. But yeah, it's hard to say, really, to be honest with you. It's normally if we have a car that's flat, that has a flat battery in here after it's been sitting here for a day or two, we jump start it and we run it, we just take it around the block, and normally it starts and stops a few times after that. But every car is different.